best-studied operations and organizations in the world, the Church of Scientology, which has been accused of crimes, including fraud and abuse. But in a stunning development, actress Leah Remini severed all ties with the church and did something even more shocking. She started speaking out, chipping away at the once unbreakable wall of secrecy surrounding Scientology and what goes on inside the church.
My whole life, I was a very dedicated Scientologist.
David Miscavige, it's a hammer in my face.
I didn't want to find out what I'd done was a lie.
All the money we spent to try to hang on to my family, they've been owning me for all these years.
Something inside of me was saying, get them out of this thing. Fight for your family. Let's get to the abuses. Let's get to the abortions. Wake up.
All of this is taking a toll on Leah's own health, and I want to hear how she's doing. Please welcome Leah Remini. Thank you for being here.
Oh my God, thank you for having me again. You had me crying last time.
No, I don't want to do that.
Hi, everybody.
But you're talking about some pretty deep stuff.
Yes.
This new show you have, it's not a reality show, it's an investigation.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I'll accept that.
It really is. And
Yeah.
I must say, you were in the Church of Scientology for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Why probe now?
Well, it's not that I'm probing, it's that I'm finding out. This was revealing to me. It wasn't information that I knew, obviously, while I was in the church. I heard allegations of it. But then when I went to my church and said, is this going on? What's happening? They provide you with packets on these people, accusing them of crimes. And so you get all of your information from Scientology. You're not, you don't look on the internet. You don't talk to people who are not Scientologists. Mm-hmm. Your life becomes Scientology. If you have a problem in your marriage, you go to your church. If your kid is acting up, you send them to your church. And so the church becomes the parent, the church becomes everything to you. And so as I found out, I became enraged, but then I turned that into an action that I felt, well, what can I do? I'm just an actress. Like, I felt kind of apathetic about any power that
what can one person
have. What
do?
can one person do?
So you interview these former members of the church, and they allege harassment, abuse. What surprised you the most in these conversations?
Well, I mean, as if that wasn't enough.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
What is surprising to me, and what is actually pissing me off further, so now I have another, fight, is that nothing's being done about it. When Going Clear came out, I don't know if you guys saw Going Clear on HBO, Alex Gibney and Lawrence Wright, a movie that was the first of its kind in this way. I thought, okay, something's going to be done about it because they exposed a lot in that documentary. So that's what's shocking to me. And I want people to have an opinion. I don't think being impartial is the right position to take here.
Do you think people with voices, yourself, Tom Cruise, Kirstie Alley, are shielded a little bit from what's happening from these secrets?
All Scientologists are shielded from what's really happening. But there's certain tiers of information and certain tiers of executives. Most celebrities don't ever meet David Miscavige, the head of the church. Tom Cruise is considered of similar power in the church. But what's scary is that speaking out against an organization is considered a crime for which anything could be done to you. Anything. Just your life being destroyed is an actual policy of this organization.
So I understand why many believe you're brave. Some say you're crazy because you're taking these kinds of risks. Specifically, what would the church do to you if they could?
They, like I said, they have a policy called fair game, which basically says you can destroy anybody's life who speaks out against the church. Then they say there's no such thing as fair game anymore. That policy was canceled. However, when dealing with what they label us called a suppressive person, Then they hire PIs. They make false claims. They call Child Protective Services. They'll call your job anonymously and try to get you fired. They will send you 50,000 threatening letters. They will put up all your confessions that they've recorded over time, because they record your confessions, and they will post that online out of context. They will just do anything and everything to discredit you. Are they coming after you? They come after me, but I expected that. What I'm more concerned with, I don't give a crap about me, is because I have all of you. I have your support. I have this audience. I have people at home. Thank you. Social media. I have so much support and love. I can't even have the words to say thank you. I don't even have the words. It's going to make me cry. But it's the victims. That's what kills me. And you cannot victimize victims. And these are the heroes to me, the people who continue to talk, not me, you know? And that they continue to get away with it is what kills me, is that, you know, that people are not stepping in whose responsibility it is to look into cults that are hurting people. And that's really what I want to have happen from this show.
Do you feel you're a victim?
I feel that I'm only a victim in that I believed in something. I believed in something that the world saw as a scam, but I didn't. I was brought into it as a child, and I think that Scientologists currently are victims because they are being told by the church that they are doing amazing things. And this organization has amassed $3 billion, thank you to the IRS. And the government, the FBI, whoever's job it is to look into this, they're hiding behind freedom of religion. But if your religion, a lot of your religion mandates and dictates that you hurt innocent children to hide molestations and rapes, yes, I'm attacking it.
All right. When we come back, I want to talk about some of these stories.
Okay.
People you've been speaking with. Leah's got a story from her investigation that shocked her to the core. Me as well. Stick around. Next, Leah is exposing the secret world of Scientology that even she didn't know existed.
They made Amy write a confession to use that against her.
Should I read this to you?
Sure.
They've called you desperate for attention, that you seek publicity by maliciously spreading lies about the church.
Didn't you guys get like 5 phone calls within the last 24 hours?
Who better to investigate Scientology than Leah Remini, who shocked the world when she came forward about her own experience with the church. Now Leah is exposing the secret world of Scientology that even she didn't know existed. Take a look at a story from the first episode of her show.
I'm going to bring up a sensitive subject because it's right exactly on that line, which is I was 14 when I started in Scientology. And I had a boss who was 35 years old. He was married. And he had me stay back, you know, when everybody else left. And basically, we had sex. This was statutory rape. And I was too afraid to tell anyone about it. He told his wife, and then they told the organization, and then the organization did not tell my mother, did not tell my father, who would put him in jail, did not tell the police.
What's the thinking behind that, Amy?
Because, well, number one, they didn't tell any authorities because it would be bad PR for Scientology. So, and they indoctrinated me that if anything serious goes on, it's handled internally. It happened to me, so therefore I must have done something that caused it.
And, you know, and at the time, being a child,
I was innocent. I was innocent.
You believed it, though.
I believed it. I believed it.
Not a victim. You believed that you had done something wrong to have deserved that.
Yeah. I wanted to just do what was right, you know, and they were the authorities.
There's nothing anybody can do. I can't do anything.
There's one thing that can be done.
What?
It can be exposed.
So someone who believed in the church teachings for all those years as a mom, how does that affect you emotionally to hear?
Well, that killed me. But what further was heartbreaking is that the church made young Amy, because they believe that Amy is a spiritual being and not a body, so they treated her as an adult. They made Amy do kind of an amends and write a confession that basically she was responsible for that.
Oh.
And part of their tactics would be to use that against her, that she was somehow responsible as a child.
So they call her a pathological liar.
Yes, and then as if that wasn't enough, they've created a hate website on her, calling her a pathological liar, amongst other vile, childish things. This is a church, might I remind you, doing that. The church accuses people of attacking them. This is all they do. They accuse others of everything that they do. As a mother, in that clip, I did say, it makes me want to hire somebody to break his effing legs. And that is the way I feel today. It's very hard for me to sit back and listen to these stories. I wish that Amy was the only one. She isn't. She is one of, legally, because, they're just sitting right now waiting to sue the crap out of me, and I wish they would.
Why?
Why do I wish they would? Because they'd have to be deposed, I'd have to be deposed, and so we could get some real information out. They won't sue me because they know that's true. And they know that these stories are true, or they would have sued the crap out of every single one of us. But it's heartbreaking, it's disgusting. It's, as a mother, it fires me up in a way that I can't imagine. So when people tell me to move on, I go, right, yeah, tell that to her. Tell that to the mothers and fathers who lost their kids or have to deal with the fact that their children were taken advantage of. Tell them that.
So the church disputes Amy's story, as you point out.
If the church disputes it, they should sue us. Period. I mean, there's no point in playing these idiotic games with an organization who claims to be a church. This is a church. Have you ever heard of a church creating hate websites on parishioners who left? Going after them, attacking their families, destroying their families? Have you ever heard of such a thing in your lifetime?
I have not. I just saw the one they created on you.
Right. Yeah, I just found this out. And didn't you guys get like 5 phone calls within the last 24 hours? Does that, just as a person, does that make you go, what kind of organization is this? If I'm so insignificant, if I'm such a liar, if I'm just doing this for attention and money, why bother with me?
It might be the approach they're using they find more effective. If I could just read this to you.
Sure, go ahead.
So they've called you desperate for attention, that you seek publicity by maliciously spreading lies about the church. They say it's sad that you've chosen to exploit for money.
Right. To say that it's sad that I exploit the church for money. Think about that one, and think about who has a vested interest in exploitation. Again, they amassed $3 billion in assets by defrauding people of their faith. And they are the ones who have a vested interest in shutting people like me up.
Let me read this statement. This is what they sent us, actually, about your appearance here today from the Church of Scientology. I'll have the full document on the DrOz.com site.
Thank God. People are going to just be
but I'm
so
going to
excited about that.
Yeah, sure. Let me read you. Leah Remini has disparaged and exploited her former faith through a series of failed publicity stunts, culminating in her reality television show featuring a cast of admitted liars who have, for profit, been telling differing versions of the same false tales of abuse for years.
Oh, you want me to respond to it?
Actually, you don't have to respond to that, but I'm wondering, will you ever stop? What would stop you?
What would stop me? What would stop me is somebody smarter than me, bigger than me, more powerful than me doing something about it. Yeah. I'd like to go on with my life. I would love to. I would love to go and get a nice cushy job on a sitcom and complain about, you know, real things like them not having my bagels. You know, I'd love to be, you know, just a normal person acting, not doing any, believe me, I would love it. This is not a fun thing to do. But it is it's a passion of mine to stick up for people when I see them being bullied. And it doesn't matter who it is. I stick up for people in the street I don't even know. It's just the person that I am. If I hear of an injustice and I'm passionate about it and I feel that I might be able to bring a voice to something, then I'm going to do it. And I want people to feel that way. Your power is in you. You just have to find it. You just have to start.
When we come back, I want to ask Leah how she's recovering personally from decades as a Scientologist and what she's going through now.
Okay.
Be right back.
Next.
I was told what to believe, what I can read, who I can talk to.
How did Leah's involvement with the church impact her health?
Who helps you?
I'm working through it. It's emotional.
She opens up about how she's coping.
I'm back with Leah Remini. Let me ask you about you.
Yeah.
How do you keep up? How do you faring with all the pressure you're feeling from talking about the Church of Scientology?
You know, I'm working through it. It's emotional. It's not easy. It's, you know, when you're in Scientology, you're there 2.5 hours a day, minimum, 7 days a week. It costs $250,000 minimum to do Scientology. The time commitment and the financial commitment is very great. And so I know what it takes to be a Scientologist. It's very hard for me to attack them because I know what they're giving up. Scientology offers you a purpose in your life, you know? You wake up in the morning, you go, my life is Scientology. Everything that I do is Scientology. We all speak the same language. And Scientology makes you feel like you're an elitist. You're part of something very special. You're helping the planet to be a better place. And so that sense of purpose is gone. You're left with, I'm just a person.
So how do you cope? Who helps you?
Who helps me? My therapist is trying. You know, I have a mother. I have a strong father. I have a strong husband. I have, you know, a pain-in-the-ass daughter who keeps me very busy. She makes me feel inadequate, so I'm always working to make her feel she's everything. I mean, I make a joke about her, but honestly, kids are such a blessing because whatever you're going through, it's meaningless to them. You know, it's like whatever's going on in their day is the most important thing. And many times, like, you know, I decide I'm going to have a little mini breakdown. I'm just going to go in the shower and have a good cry. You know, and then in walks your daughter or your son, and, you know, they need a certain sneaker or their life's going to end. And their teachers don't understand them, and they're they're going after, you know, my daughter personally. She's the only one who didn't hear that there was a test tomorrow. But, you know, it takes you out of yourself. And I wouldn't have been given this kind of different view of my life if I wasn't in this cult. Because what you take for granted, just your time, your relationship with your kid, is not being dictated to by a church, by an organization, or by an ideology. I can be friends with anybody now. I could accept any idea that works for me now. And I didn't have that before. I was told what to believe, what I can read, who I can talk to, who I can't talk to, how to raise my daughter, how to have a relationship, how to present myself in the world. And now I have a freedom. So I look at it as a blessing too, having been through this experience with Scientology, because I don't know if I would have appreciated this part of my life now.
I think you found your purpose.
Thank you. Yeah.
You can check out Leah's 8-part docuseries, Scientology in the Aftermath. It's Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. on AD. It is riveting. Judge for yourselves, but watch the show. And everyone in the audience is going home with a copy of Leah's book,
Oh, good.
Troublemaker,
Hey.
Surviving Hollywood and Scientology, which you're going to all adore. We'll be right back.